Cricket Diary with RJ Yuvi. Only on Radio City.
ਇੱਕ ਆ ਟ੍ਰਾਂਜੀਸ਼ਨ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਪਾਕਿਸਤਾਨ ਤੋਂ ਯੂ ਵੈਂਟ ਟੂ ਯੂਕੇ ਇੱਧਰ ਯੂਕੇ ਆਏ ਲੰਡਨ ਇੱਥੇ ਥੋੜਾ ਬਹੁਤ ਖੇਡਿਆ ਐਂਡ ਦੈਨ ਸਾਊਥ ਅਫਰੀਕਾ ਕਿਉਂ ਚੂਜ਼ ਕੀਤਾ?
ਦੇਖੋ ਉਹਦੀ ਇੱਕ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਸਭ ਤੋਂ ਵੱਡੀ ਰੀਜ਼ਨ ਹੈਗੀ ਹੈ ਉਹ ਇੱਕੋ ਹੀ ਹੈਗੀ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਮੇਰੀ ਵਾਈਫ
ਓ ਯੈਸ
ਤੇ ਮੇਰੀ ਵਾਈਫ ਚਾਹ ਰਹੀ ਸੀ ਕਿ ਮੈਂ ਸਾਊਥ ਅਫਰੀਕਾ ਖੇਡਾਂ ਤੇ ਮੈਂ ਪਾਕਿਸਤਾਨ ਸੈਂਟਰਲ ਕੰਟਰੈਕਟਡ ਪਲੇਅਰ ਸਾਂ ਤੇ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਬੋਰਡ ਵਾਲੋਂ ਪੈਸੇ ਮਿਲ ਰਹੇ ਸਨ ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਮੈਂ ਕੰਟਰੈਕਟਡ ਪਲੇਅਰ ਸਾਂ ਤੇ ਮੈਂ ਲਾਹੌਰ ਦਾ ਕਪਤਾਨ ਵੀ ਸਾਂ ਤੇ ਲੇਕਿਨ ਉਹ ਮੇਰੇ ਸੇ ਚੂਜ਼ ਕਰਨਾ ਬੜਾ ਮੁਸ਼ਕਿਲ ਸੀ ਲੇਕਿਨ ਫਿਰ ਜਦੋਂ ਮੈਂ ਗਿਆ ਤੇ ਵੈਰੀ ਕੁਇਕ ਵੀ ਗੋਟ ਮੈਰਿਡ ਤੇ ਫਿਰ ਬਸ ਉਹਦੇ ਬਾਅਦ ਮੈਂ ਟਾਈਟਨਸ ਵਾਲੋਂ ਖੇਡਿਆ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਲੋਕਲ ਟੀਮ ਹੈ ਸਾਊਥ ਅਫਰੀਕਾ ਤੇ ਉਹ ਵੀ ਇੱਕ ਓਪਰਚੁਨਿਟੀ ਸੀ ਮੇਰੇ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਮੈਂ ਨੈਟ ਦੇ ਬਾਹਰ ਬੈਠਾ ਦਾ ਸਾਂ ਤੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਇੱਕ ਬੋਲਰ ਨਹੀਂ ਆਇਆ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਕਿਹਾ ਕਿ ਬਾਲ ਕਰ ਦਿਓ ਤੇ ਮੈਂ ਬੋਲਿੰਗ ਸ਼ੁਰੂ ਕੀਤੀ ਤੇ ਮੈਂ ਟੀਮ ਬੜੀ ਵੱਡੀ ਸੀ ਏਬੀ ਡਿਵੀਲੀਅਰਸ ਗੁਲਾਮ ਬੋਰਡੀ ਫਫ ਡੁਪਲੇਸੀ ਹਾਈਨੋ ਕੂਨ ਪੌਲ ਹੈਰਿਸ ਐਲਬੀ ਮੋਰਕਲ ਮੋਨੇ ਮੋਰਕਲ ਡੇਲ ਸਟੇਨ ਵਾਓ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਫਸਟ ਕਲਾਸ ਟੀਮ ਸੀ ਤੇ ਮੈਂ ਉੱਤੋਂ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਦੇਖ ਕੇ ਘਬਰਾਇਆ ਦਾ ਸਾਂ ਕਿ ਸਾਰੇ ਇੰਨੇ ਵੱਡੇ ਪਲੇਅਰ ਖੇਡਦੇ ਨੇ ਮੈਂ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਫਿਰ ਆਊਟ ਕੀਤਾ ਅਰੇ ਵਾਹ ਨੈਟਸ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਸਿਵਾਏ ਏਬੀ ਦੇ ਉਹ ਏਬੀ ਅੱਛਾ ਖੇਡਿਆ ਸੀ ਲੇਕਿਨ ਉਹ ਸਭ ਪਰੇਸ਼ਾਨ ਹੋ ਗਏ ਕੌਣ ਆਇਆ ਮੁੰਡਾ ਤੇ ਉਹ ਫਿਰ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਮੇਰੇ ਕੋਲੋਂ ਪੁੱਛਿਆ ਕੋਚ ਨੇ ਰਿਚਰਡ ਪਾਈਬਸ ਉਹ ਪਾਕਿਸਤਾਨ ਦਾ ਪਹਿਲੇ ਕੋਚ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਕਿਹਾ ਕਿ ਜੀ ਇੱਥੇ ਕੀ ਕਰ ਰਿਹਾ ਤੂੰ ਮੈਂ ਕਿਹਾ ਜੀ ਮੇਰੀ ਸ਼ਾਦੀ ਹੋਈ ਦੀ ਹੈ ਤੇ ਮੈਂ ਹੁਣੇ ਜਾ ਰਿਹਾ ਖੇਡਣ ਵਾਪਸ ਉਹ ਕਹਿ ਰਿਹਾ ਕਿ ਤੂੰ ਤੇ ਫਿਰ ਸਾਊਥ ਅਫਰੀਕਨ ਹੋ ਗਿਆ ਨਾ ਸ਼ਾਦੀ ਤੇਰੀ ਹੋ ਗਈ ਹੈ ਮੈਂ ਕਿਹਾ ਆਹੋ ਵਾਈਫ ਇੱਥੋਂ ਦੀ ਹੈ ਮੇਰੀ ਸ਼ੀ ਸਾਊਥ ਅਫਰੀਕਨ ਤੇ ਕਹਿੰਦਾ ਅੱਛਾ ਕੋਈ ਗੱਲ ਨਹੀਂ ਤੇ ਮੈਂ ਬੋਲਿੰਗ ਕਰ ਰਿਹਾ ਸਾਂ ਤੇ ਉਹ ਨੈਟ ਦੀ ਕੰਟਰੈਕਟ ਲੈ ਆਇਆ ਅਰੇ ਵਾਹ ਤੇ ਮੈਂ ਉੱਥੇ ਨੈਟ 'ਚ ਹੀ ਸਾਈਨ
ਸਾਊਥ ਅਫਰੀਕਨ ਟੀਮ ਦਾ ਕੰਟਰੈਕਟ ਫਸਟ ਕਲਾਸ ਦਾ
ਨਹੀਂ ਫਸਟ ਕਲਾਸ ਦਾ ਉਹ ਖੇਡਿਆ ਫਿਰ 4 ਸਾਲ ਉੱਥੇ ਤੇ ਫਿਰ ਮੈਂ ਇੰਗਲੈਂਡ ਕਾਉਂਟੀ ਮੇਰਾ ਹੈਮਸ਼ਾਇਰ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਹੋਇਆ ਕੰਟਰੈਕਟ ਉਹ ਵੀ ਮੈਂ क्लब क्रिकेट खेल रहा था तो उन्होंने मैंने ट्रायल वास्ते बुलाया
कोई खास बैट्समैन जिसके लिए आपको बहुत मेहनत मशक्कत करनी पड़ी तैयारी के लिए जब अगले दिन मैच है या सीरीज से पहले?
तीन प्लेयर्स हैं जिनका मैं कहूँगा एबी डिविलियर्स विराट कोहली हाशिम आमला मैं तो लकी हूँ कि 2 के साथ तो मैं खेलता रहा लेकिन जब मैं इनके खिलाफ खेलता था तो बड़ी तैयारी से जाना पड़ता था विराट कोहली एक ही प्लेयर है जिसके खिलाफ जब मैं जाता था तो मैं पूरा ये सोच के जितना एक्सपीरियंस है लाइफ का वो मैं करता था
8 for 2 of the best the most fan followed franchises back in the IPL. You've played for Chennai, you've played for Mumbai, 5 titles apiece for them as we talk. If you have to pick one franchise,
Chennai.
Not Mumbai.
Chennai.
Why would you say that?
Just the way it is. I mean, I love Mumbai too, but for me, the vibe that I had at Chennai, I didn't have at Mumbai. So with Dhoni, the boss, he would say all the time, like, this is what it is. He would put things in place, even let me go from the manager down, even the owner. He would never get involved with the cricket. He leave it all up to the guys. The manager would settle things. You ask manager to do anything, you could call him any time of the morning. He's there for you. And then with Dhoni, it was like, this is what it is. And he would come, because I think, from my observations, I always think that Dhoni had this thing in his head that he needs to understand each player he's working with. And you can see, it don't look like it, people might not see it, but I think he just used to stand and study players like mad. Like, this is what it is, this is him, this is what I need him to do. And I understand that from having conversations with him. He would tell me, like, you don't worry, this is what you will do, this is what I will think I will want you to do. And people don't understand you, and they don't know how effective you are bowling. And he would speak to me, and he would say things, and he would always be fair. I know that for sure. He will always give you the opportunity. So anytime you're missing out, you have messed up big time, because he gave you perfect opportunity to do your stuff. And I was so comfortable there. I was like so relaxed. Myself and the other demolition partner, I used to call it, Brendan McCullum, we just used to go out there and enjoy the cricket. And play free.
Do you remember a conversation with Dhoni you can share? Off the field, on the field, about it, not about cricket, any conversation?
I don't know, most conversations we would have will be on cricket. He was just telling me about how, as I just mentioned, how effective I am with my bowling, and how deceptive it is. Like, people don't understand how quick I can get to them with that fuller ball. And he said, you'll be effective. He said, I'm not going to bowl you as much, but when I do call upon you, you know for sure that I know this is what you're going to come and do. I want you to come, you try tighten up on some runs, probably might get a wicket. If you don't, then you just try and keep it steady. Try to get try to stop them from scoring as heavy, and that's my job done. I would always speak to him and like, what you think I do wrong, what you think was right, and he would always just say like, this is what it was. Don't worry, next game. And he was just cool. Like, you know, if you get him angry, you must have done something real bad. So most times, I never really had any run-ins with him. Well, probably only one time on the boundary, I missed a catch and he moved me, and I was like, escape. Like, why he moved me? It happens. But he never really went on about it. He just said, I just had to move you. I just think you didn't ready for it. And we went along.
You've seen Dhoni angry? Have you seen Dhoni angry?
Probably once. I think Ashwin had dropped a catch or something. Our first regulation catch, and he had asked him to move, and he said, move, come on. And they moved him over the slip and put someone else there. That's probably the only time close to being angry. I think the other time was when they stopped food from coming into the hotel for him. I think that was one time he moved from that hotel one time. I can't remember the hotel name, or even if I remember, I won't mention it.
Okay, but that was back in India.
Yeah,
or Dubai.
In India, he moved hotels right away.
The entire team.
Yep. So it was something to gain, but you know how it goes. That's the man.
Giving you options and you have to pick one. Yep. A World Cup victory or an Ashes victory.
Oh, I'm going to say Ashes because I didn't really play in too many World Cup games, but yeah, obviously played in Ashes wins and series wins, so I'll say the Ashes.
Beating India 5-0 in India, or probably beating England in Australia like a 3-2.
I think hard to go past beating India 5-0 in India. You know, I was lucky enough to play a few Test series in India, and without doubt the hardest experiences of my cricket career was playing there. So was lucky enough to win a Test match in my time, and yeah, I just know how hard it is to play over there against a very good team. So I'll say India 5-0 in India.
Also, you played in the IPL. You played a lot of leagues back home also. What makes IPL special?
Oh, where do we start? Like I said, I very fortunate to play in that first year and do well, and it sort of set me up, you know, with Kings 11 for 10 years I was there for. So
I used to root for Punjab.
yeah,
Please tell me, why don't we ever win?
no, I don't know. Look, I'd love to see Kings 11 win soon. I think we're due, aren't we? So yeah, hopefully they can do really well in the auction, or the big auction this year, and get some really good players in there, and they can finally win. But yeah, look, the IPL was without doubt the best T20 league, franchise league in the world, and you got the best players that want to play in it, along with the best Indian players, and you know, to see it grow from 2008 to where it is now is incredible. And I was lucky enough to get back there, not last season, but the season before, to go and watch Mitch play. And, you know, it's pretty special to be over there and be a part of it again. And, yeah, it's just an amazing tournament to be.
Yeah, you picked up the bat ball or the first? Bat or the ball?
I can't remember. Probably bat, only.
Is it more a flamboyant or a more a better way to pick up the bat, because batsmen, I think, have an edge of being more popular and more comfortable as against the bowlers, for that matter?
Nah, I think it's whatever you prefer and whatever you enjoy doing more as a young kid. But I think it's important to work on both aspects, or all three aspects, especially the one-day game with all-rounders is so vital and important.
Jack, since the day you were playing till now, I think the game has, there's been a lot of change in the game. The formats have changed, etc. How do you think test match cricket is? And then how do you think 2020 is? And is there a future for the 50-over format?
I think white ball cricket's definitely improved massively. It's a totally different game, especially the batters. It's hard for the bowlers to do anything more than what they're doing. But certainly from a batting point of view, white ball cricket has really improved exponentially and can't even be compared to yesteryear. And on the flip side, I think red ball cricket's gone backwards. I think, the games don't last 5 days anymore. Batters aren't prepared to stick it out when it's tough. As soon as there's a bit of movement, guys tend to get bowled out a lot quicker these days. So entertainment wise, maybe, it's probably entertaining, but I think in terms of your old school test cricket, it's not what it used to be.
Does it hurt as a professional cricketer? The test match has gone a backseat.
I think it's the way every team wants to go about it, and I think the team that does go back to finding a balance between those two and when to defend and when to attack, or be a side that can dominate test cricket for a while. It's obviously tough now with the amount of white ball cricket being played. That's to get the discipline to go back to 5-day cricket, but it's still entertaining.
So the classic form of cricket is test match. The entertainment bit is the T20. Where do you think is the future of the 50-over format there?
I hope it can fit in somewhere. It is a format, and probably still the number one World Cup to win is the 50-over one. And hopefully it can find a place.
Jack, a little in the Indian context, you've been to India a lot of times. India has been to South Africa for a lot of tours. South Africa is the only country where India has not won a test series. What do you think? Where are we missing? We have all the firepower. We've won in Australia, England, everywhere on the globe. What is it in?
I think batting in South Africa is very different to anyone else. You get sideways movement and up and down movement. So there's a certain way that you need to bat in South Africa. I think that is different to other places, and perhaps it's the one area where India haven't quite got that right. They've come close a few times, but hopefully they would have learnt, and I'm sure it'll be a tough series when they do come to us next.
Who was the hardest batsman you had to bowl to?
I think Brian Lara was probably ahead of his time in that area, and bowling wise it probably was Makram and Shaun Marsh.
No, it's spinners or batsmen. If you have to pick one, if you're facing, who would you fancy your chances against?
So it was always a challenge against top class spinners and seamers. That didn't really matter what is coming at net. It was always a good challenge.
I think India are the powerhouse to develop cricket in other areas. We've got the Olympics coming up, LA 28. I think one of the reasons why cricket has been introduced.
Do you think Virat will play in the 2028 Olympics?
I think he has to. It's not the question of will he play. He will have to play.
He will be about 40, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, he has to play because his brand is so big. Just as a brand, like Cristiano Ronaldo has taken football to Saudi Arabia, Virat Kohli will have to be present in America because of his brand that he brings, and then he will generate a bigger interest of cricket. Because during the ICC World Cup, it was great to see cricket being introduced to America, but I just felt it wasn't on the right channels. Willow TV is not the right broadcast. I know it will get you there, but it needs to be on the major broadcasts, major sports channels, that they are in America, where NBA, NFL, all of them games are being played. That's where cricket needs to be on there as well. And I think Virat Kohli, his brand, because he's so big, will have to go to America during the Olympics and make cricket as big as possible as it can be.
One more instance, as an Indian, we're very happy that we came to Australia. We beat Australia. What was the build-up to the series? A little your and Virat Kohli thing, and then Rishabh Pant finishing for us in style. If you just could highlight something about the whole series.
I think the whole series was great. Obviously, we were on the wrong side of it, but it was pretty competitive cricket the whole way through. And I think, again, the thing that stood out to me, I mean, we copped a bit of flack because India hadn't won in Australia before and all that sort of stuff. But I think there's a really clear difference now in Indian cricket and the difference to other eras is that you guys now have these amazing fast bowlers that you can come to Australia and you can compete and you can make our batters feel really uncomfortable with good fast bowling. And Other Australian teams have never had to contend with that from India. Certainly in Australia, we go to India and we struggle playing spin, and that's always been the case. But for India to be able to come here now with a big list of young, fresh, fast bowlers, it was a completely different challenge. And a couple of them, we didn't have Steve Smith and we didn't have David Warner, and it was a challenging time. But India outplayed us, and a big reason for that is the fast bowlers now. It's England are a very, very good team all around the world now, and in past eras, I think they were a very, very good team in India and then struggled when they went away. But as I said, those fast bowlers make them very, very tricky to play anywhere in the world.
Tim, we have seen some documentary parts also of the same era, the documentaries that were released also. So I know a little about it. But as a captain, India coming in, doing well for a change in Australia.
Yeah.
As a captain, how would you prepare for someone like Virat Kohli? We heard you over the mic a couple of times, your conversations, etc. But I'm sure that's not exactly what we read and what's happening in the game. There's a lot of difference. But how do you prepare for someone like a Virat Kohli?
Well, he's hard to prepare for. I think he scores runs everywhere in the world against all types of bowling, isn't he? So you've got to have plans in place, but at the same time, Virat would have plans in place for how he's going to counter the plans that we have for him. And I think that's what makes Virat and Steve Smith, some of the best players we've ever seen, is their ability to adapt to whatever you throw at them, whether it was Mitchell Starc or it's Pat Cummins or it's Josh Hazlewood. They all had great plans on how we get him out, and you've got all the data and all the video footage in the world now. But Steve and Virat in particular, you can start with a plan, and within 5 or 6 balls they've adapted, and they're then counter adapting to you. So it's a real game of cat and mouse. And Steve and Virat have been the best that I've seen at being able to adapt on the fly and change, even end to end, facing different bowlers, and that's why they're.
So you have a plan B and C in place for them?
Yeah, I think you try to, but I mean, it's a game of cricket at the end of the day. There's not too much more you can do than try and bowl good balls and keep them under pressure. And as I said, Virat and Steve in my era have been the two best at turning that pressure, and they put it back on the bowler, and that's why they are who they are.
Please correct me if I'm wrong here, but I've never seen you have more than a little verbal conversation with any of the opponents. But you and Virat had a lot of these, and these emotions are highlighted by the media as well.
Yeah.
Would you want to take us across anything like that?
No, there wasn't too much in it. It was just two competitive people trying to win, wasn't it? And Australia and India, and particularly that Test match in Perth, that was a wicket. Like it was fast, and both bowling attacks were quick, and there was there's a bit of emotion, and that can spill over at times, but it wasn't anything too serious.
Something you revive for us, a conversation?
Oh, I can't even remember it, to be honest. It's all a bit of a blur, and. I just know there wasn't any sort of nastiness, is there? There was a bit of back and forth, but I think it's great entertainment. And for me to, even to be on the same field when I was growing up as a kid, if you told me that I'd be on a cricket field having an argument with the best player possibly ever, I'd be pretty happy with that.
So you regard him as the best possible player ever?
I think he's right up there, yeah, certainly.
There's one statement in the Indian media which was highlighted, your statement, which said that Virat is any other player for me.
That was when I was playing against him. Yeah, I didn't want to put him on a pedestal when I was playing against him, but I think if you look now, I don't have to play against him, and I don't want him to have a sort of mental edge over our players. But now when I'm not playing against him, I think the player that he's been over all 3 formats, I don't think you can argue he's probably the best we've ever seen.
So was it like off the field, you'll ask him, let's grab a beer together, let's time spend. Does that happen?
Not then. I mean, those 2 series were interesting because it was around COVID time, so there wasn't a lot of interaction, and you were separated the whole time. I mean, one of them, I don't think we even had crowds, or we were staying in hotels and you weren't allowed off your floor. So that was a really interesting period to be playing international cricket. But certainly as life goes on, and hopefully I'll get into some coaching and we cross paths again, then it would be great to chat to someone as good as him and pick his brain about cricket and life.
Favorite player कौन चल रहा है? Current favorite तो मेरे शुरू तो ही शुभमन गिल रहे जी, and हुने भी वही है.
ਭਾਜੀ ਸ਼ੁਭਮਨ, your favorite player ਜੋ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕਿਹਾ, ਕਿੰਨਾ ਖੇਲੇ ਉਹਦੇ ਨਾਲ? How was the starting like for ਸ਼ੁਭਮਨ ਗਿਲ?
खेडे काफी साल हो गए. I know him since I think 15 years now. ਜਦੋਂ he started playing cricket ਮੋਹਾਲੀ ਆਇਆ ਸੀਗਾ ਤੇ ਉਦੋਂ ਤੋਂ ਹੀ we been together, and ਉਦੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ club matches ਖੇਡਨੇ, inter districts ਸਾਡੀਆਂ ਇਕੱਠੀਆਂ, because ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ ਉਹ young age 'ਚ ਹੀ ਫਿਰ ਅੱਗੇ ਉਤਲੀ ਕ੍ਰਿਕਟ ਖੇਡਣ ਲੱਗ ਗਿਆ ਸੀਗਾ ਤੇ ਸੀਨੀਅਰ ਕ੍ਰਿਕਟ, ਉਦੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ ਰਣਜੀ ਟਰੋਫੀ ਅਸੀਂ ਖੇਡੇ ਇਕੱਠੇ. ਸੋ ਬਹੁਤ ਸਾਲ ਹੋ ਗਏ ਉਹਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਵੇਖਦੇ ਹੋਏ, ਐਂਡ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਵੇਖ ਕੇ I feel more happy because ਉਹਦਾ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰੈਸ ਜਿਵੇਂ ਆਪਾਂ ਵੇਖਦੇ ਹਾਂ, ਵੈਨ ਯੂ ਸੀ ਸਮਵਨ ਫਰਮ ਚਾਈਲਡਹੁੱਡ ਤੇ ਕਿਵੇਂ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰੈਸ ਕਰ ਰਿਹਾ, ਉਹਦਾ ਵਰਕ ਐਥਿਕ ਤੇ ਕਿਵੇਂ ਅੱਗੇ ਜਾ ਰਿਹਾ, ਸੋ ਉਹ ਵੇਖ ਕੇ ਬਹੁਤ ਵਧੀਆ ਲੱਗਦਾ।
ਬਟ ਐਜ਼ ਅ ਸੀਨੀਅਰ ਭਾਜੀ ਜਦੋਂ ਆਏ ਸੀਗੇ ਹੀ ਵਾਸ ਕਿੰਨੇ ਕੁ ਸਾਲ ਜੂਨੀਅਰ ਹੋਏ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਤੋਂ?
ਮੇਰੇ ਤੋਂ 10 years
10 years younger to you. So when he comes into a team or ਤੁਸੀਂ senior member ਹੋ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ, ਕੀ as a senior member, as a more experienced cricketer ਪਤਾ ਲੱਗ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਯਾਰ this guy is going to make it to the national team?
I think players like ਸ਼ੁਭਮਨ ਹੋ ਗਿਆ, ਇਹ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਐਕਸਟਰਾਆਰਡਨਰੀ ਪਰਫਾਰਮ ਕਰਦੇ ਰਹੇ ਜੂਨੀਅਰ ਲੈਵਲ ਤੇ, ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਤਾਂ ਪਤਾ ਲੱਗ ਹੀ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਹੈ। ਬਿਕੋਜ਼ ਇਫ ਯੂ ਆਰ ਸਕੋਰਿੰਗ, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਨਾਰਮਲ ਅੰਡਰ 15 ਅੰਡਰ 17 ਦੇ ਮੈਚਸ ਖੇਡ ਰਹੇ ਹੋ, ਤੁਸੀਂ 300 300s 400s ਬਣਾ ਰਹੇ ਹੋ, ਸੋ ਇਟ ਮੀਨਸ ਯੂ ਆਰ ਸਪੈਸ਼ਲ। ਬਟ ਜੋ ਮੇਨ ਗੱਲ ਹੈ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਕੈਰੀ ਫਾਰਵਰਡ ਕਿਵੇਂ ਕਰਨਾ ਹੈ ਸੀਨੀਅਰ ਕ੍ਰਿਕਟਸ, ਉਹਦੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਟ੍ਰਾਂਜੀਸ਼ਨ ਹੋਈ ਹੈ ਨਾ ਜੂਨੀਅਰ ਕ੍ਰਿਕਟ ਤੋਂ ਸੀਨੀਅਰ ਕ੍ਰਿਕਟਸ, ਉਹ ਆਈ ਥਿੰਕ ਦੈਟ ਹੈਜ਼ ਬੀਨ ਅਮੇਜ਼ਿੰਗ। ਜਿਸ ਹਿਸਾਬ ਨਾਲ ਉਹਨੇ ਉਹ ਪ੍ਰੈਸ਼ਰ ਹੈਂਡਲ ਕੀਤਾ ਹੈ, ਔਰ ਉਹਦੀ ਬਹੁਤ ਵਧੀਆ ਗੱਲ ਹੈ ਵੀ ਕਾਮ ਰਹਿੰਦਾ ਉਹ।
ਉਹ ਯੂਜੂਅਲੀ ਵੀ ਇੰਨੇ ਕਾਮ ਹੀ ਆ।
ਹਾਂਜੀ ਹਾਂਜੀ,
ਉਹ ਘੱਟ ਬੋਲਣ ਵਾਲੇ
ਬਹੁਤ ਘੱਟ ਬੋਲਣ ਵਾਲੇ, ਲੇਕਿਨ ਜਿਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਜਾਣਦਾ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨਾਲ ਪੂਰਾ ਖੁੱਲਦਾ।
ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਕੋਈ ਸਾਈਡ ਮੇਰੇ ਇਨਸੀਡੈਂਟਸ ਜੋ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਵੀ ਯਾਦ ਹੈ?
ਨਹੀਂ, ਇਹ ਉਹਦਾ ਕੋਈ ਇਨਸੀਡੈਂਟ ਤਾਂ ਹੈ ਨਹੀਂ, ਬਟ ਹੀ ਨਾਰਮਲੀ ਇਜ਼ ਅ ਵੈਰੀ ਜੋਲੀ ਕਾਈਂਡ ਆਫ ਅ ਪਰਸਨ। ਜਿਵੇਂ ਹਮੇਸ਼ਾ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਵੀ ਲਾਈਟ ਰਹੇ ਐਟਮੋਸਫੇਅਰ, ਮਾਹੌਲ ਵਧੀਆ ਰਵੇ, ਲੇਕਿਨ ਜਦੋਂ ਲੋਕ ਨਹੀਂ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਫਿਰ ਉਹ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਚੁੱਪ ਰਹਿੰਦਾ।
ਤੁਸੀਂ ਗੀੜੀਆਂ ਵੀ ਮਾਰੀਆਂ ਮੋਹਾਲੀ?
ਹਾਂ, ਉਹ ਪਤਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਿੰਨੇ ਸਾਲ ਹੋ ਗਏ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਮਾਰੀ ਜਾ ਰਹੇ, ਜਦੋਂ ਵੀ ਆਉਂਦਾ ਉਹ ਹੁਣ ਵੀ ਗੇੜੀ ਮਾਰਦੇ, ਕਾਫੀ ਪੀਣ ਜਦੋਂ।
ਅੱਜ ਵੀ ਟੱਚ ਹੋ ਤੁਸੀਂ?
ਹਾਂ ਰੈਗੂਲਰਲੀ
ਗੋ ਆਊਟ when he's there in the
ਯਾ ਹੁਣੇ ਰੀਸੈਂਟਲੀ ਹੀ ਵਾਸ ਹੇਅਰ, ਆਪਣਾ ਉੱਥੇ ਮੈਚਸ ਖੇਡ ਕੇ ਆਇਆ ਸੀ ਨਾ, ਹੀ ਵਾਸ ਹੇਅਰ ਫॉर ਆਈ ਥਿੰਕ 10-15 ਦਿਨ ਇੱਥੇ ਸੀ, ਇਕੱਠੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਟ੍ਰੇਨਿੰਗ ਕੀਤੀ, ਜਿਮ ਵਗੈਰਾ ਸਾਰਾ ਕੁਝ ਵੀ ਟੁਗੇਦਰ ਹੋ ਗਏ।
ਭਾਜੀ ਸ਼ੁਭਮਨ, they say that ਸ਼ੁਭਮਨ, if Kohli is the king, ਸ਼ੁਭਮਨ is the prince, ਕਿੰਨਾ ਕੁ ਅਗਰੀ ਕਰਦੇ ਹੋ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਇਸ ਗੱਲ ਨਾਲ?
ਵੈਸੇ ਤਾਂ ਆਈ ਥਿੰਕ ਐਵਰੀਬਡੀ ਸੇਜ਼ ਦਿਸ, ਔਰ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਤਾਂ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਹਰ ਬੰਦੇ ਦੀ ਆਪਦੀ ਅਲੱਗ ਇੰਡੀਵਿਜੂਅਲ ਉਹ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਹੈ, ਬਟ ਆਈ ਐਮ ਸ਼ੋਰ ਯੂ ਨੋ ਜਿਸ ਟਰੈਕ ਤੇ ਉਹ ਜਾ ਰਿਹਾ ਹੈ, ਜਿਸ ਪੇਸ ਨਾਲ ਉਹ ਜਾ ਰਿਹਾ ਹੈ, ਹੀ ਇਜ਼ ਡੂਇੰਗ ਵੈਰੀ ਵੈਲ, ਐਂਡ ਸਾਰੀ ਕੰਟਰੀ ਪ੍ਰਾਊਡ ਹੈ ਉਹਦੇ ਤੋਂ, ਸੋ ਆਈ ਸੇ you can say it's true.
You played fair bit in India.
Yes,
You played the franchise cricket as well.
Sunrisers, my baby, man. My daughter was born when I was representing Sunrisers. You know?
What year was that? This was 2013, 14?
2013, yeah.
Mm-hmm. She was born here and you were playing there?
Well, actually, I was late for the start of the season because my wife was giving birth during that time. But she was an IPL baby. You know, I came out with the pacifier, you know, my celebration and all. But just playing all those 2 or 3 seasons for Sunrisers, which, you know, it was, I think, Deccan Chargers before.
Yeah.
And then, you know, we took there. And that was my first taste of the IPL. And obviously, I traveled to India before with the West Indies team, but, you know, cricket in India is like different. It's a religion. You know, every place brings its own flavor. But something about cricket and India, it's different.
I'm now going to put you in a very difficult spot.
Don't do it.
you know where I'm coming from.
Don't ask me India, Pakistan. Don't ask me that.
PSL or IPL?
Well, to be fair, I've played more PSLs than IPL. You know, obviously, IPL would always be the mecca in terms of, obviously, it's the most lucrative brand. It is the one that every single cricketer wants to go out and play. But personally, for me, I have enjoyed the PSL because I played more over on that side. You know, but I thoroughly enjoyed the IPL. I wish I played more. You know, I mean, Sunrisers when you hear it's that's my team. You know, just playing for them. It was actually the first franchise that I played for, and gave me that opportunity. So, yeah, it's.
Which of the two then? Let me put it this way: which of the two, PSL or IPL, is more competitive?
I'll tell you what. PSL got better bowlers. IPL got better batsmen. I'll give you. It's more difficult to score runs because of the quality of bowlers in the PSL. But in the IPL, you look at the tournament this year. 270. So the pitches are so much better. better over there. And maybe it's because over the years, Pakistan has been known for fast bowling.
Yep.
Indian have been known for the batsmen. So,
But what a match. The best IPL batters team versus the best bowlers PSL team.
yeah, that would be something.
Yeah?
That would be something if it happens.
Please breathe the brand ambassador for it. Darren can make this possible.
That's when they had, when you had the Champions League going, that was something that was really good. I heard talks about it coming where you have the top 2 teams from all the different leagues.
Yeah.
That was nice.
Yeah.
The champion.
Who would have you played for then? PSL or your franchise in IPL?
Well, I think at that time, Sunrisers would have gotten the nod ahead. Unless St. Lucia Kings was in there. I would definitely have to represent St. Lucia. But again, the game has evolved so much, especially franchise cricket. Guys could have an entire career and not play for their international team. It's just so many different leagues around. But back to what you were saying, IPL always the most sought after, and PSL is right there. I heard the times might actually change because obviously they have the Champions Trophy in I think February. So it will be interesting to see what happens.
Radio City, rag rag mein daude city.